Colonel Sanders' secret recipe was rejected 1,009 times before anyone accepted it. Today there are over 24,000 KFC outlets in more than 145 countries around the world. Have you been disappointed or rejected time and time again? You feel like giving up? Well, think again. Sanders was born in 1890. He was the oldest of 3 children. When he was 6 years old, his father passed away. His mother started working in a tomato cannery. At age 13, he dropped out of school and went to live and work on a nearby farm. At 16, he faked his age to enlist in the United States Army. He was discharged a year later. He got hired by the railway as a laborer cleaning out ash pans of the trains. Sanders later progressed to be a fireman. He worked as a fireman for nearly 3 years until he was fired for insubordination. During his time working at the railway, Sanders studied law. For a while, he began to practice law, which he did for 3 years, earning enough money with his family. However, his legal career ended after a fight with his own client, and this destroyed his reputation. Following the incident, Sanders was forced to move back in with his mother and went back to work as a laborer on the railway. A year later, Sanders got a job selling life insurance, but he was eventually fired for insubordination. Sanders established a ferry boat company. After a successful funding, he became a minority shareholder himself, and he was appointed secretary of the company. The ferry boat company was an instant success. Sanders later sold his shares to establish a company manufacturing acetylene lamps. The venture failed after a competitor introduced an electric lamp that it sold on credit. He started to work as a salesman for a Michelin tire company. However, he lost his job when Michelin closed its New Jersey manufacturing plant. By chance, he met the general manager of Standard Oil of Kentucky, who asked him to run a service station. Few years later, the station was closed as a result of the Great Depression. At 40 years, he began selling chicken dishes in a service station. After years of hustling, he tried to franchise his restaurant. His recipe was rejected 1,009 times before anyone accepted it. Sanders' secret recipe was called Kentucky Fried Chicken and quickly became a hit. Sanders sold his restaurant and pursued his dream of spreading KFC franchises. By 1963, Sanders was fielding franchise requests without having to put in legwork, and had more than 600 restaurants across the US and Canada selling Kentucky Fried Chicken. In 1965, he agreed to sell his rights for $2 million. Today, that amount is equivalent to $16.5 million. Under the contract, the company, Kentucky Fried Chicken, would establish its own restaurants around the world and would not compromise the chicken recipe. Sanders was to have a lifetime salary of $40,000, later upped to $75,000, a seat on the board, a minority ownership of KFC's Canadian franchises, and would serve as the company's brand ambassador. At age 90, Sanders passed away from pneumonia. At that time, there were around 6,000 KFC locations in 48 countries. Today, there are over 24,000 KFC outlets in more than 145 countries around the world. So, if you've been rejected time and time again and you feel like giving up, remember, at age 40, Colonel Sanders had nothing. He was a loser and he had failed at so many careers that he had tried. When asked how he became successful, Colonel Sanders said, "I have only had 2 rules. Do all you can and do it the best you can. It is the only way you ever get that feeling of accomplishing something." What do we really learn from Colonel Sanders' story? Your past does not hold the keys to your future success. The Colonel failed at every career he had ever attempted, but he pressed on with faith in his own abilities and principles. It doesn't matter whether you are 20 years old or 70, it's never too late or early to become an entrepreneur. Your past does not define your future. It does not matter how many times you have failed. It does not matter where you were brought up or what happened to you earlier on in life. Your past does not determine how successful you can be in the future. So, if you're still watching this, get up and try again. What you do today determines your future. Remember, Your future is being written today.